one of the first things that I look at every morning that I'm trying to match up for confirmation of trend, just to see which pairs are moving in trend, because I don't like to trade counter trend, ideally. I look at the TDI. Now, yesterday, the TDI on GBP USD was perfect. It was in the buy zone. It was not overbought. It looked really, really great to look for longs. Then what I do is I look for the EMAs to see if they confirm that trend. And they did yesterday. 800 EMA down here on the bottom, 200 above that, and then the 50, the lighter blue line, was above that. So everything was in an uptrend, so I was clearly looking for longs from the start of the week. Now, Monday, there was a bank holiday, so we really weren't trading. Markets were kind of quiet. So you're coming in here, what I call on Tuesday, the start of the week after Easter. So the first thing that we do, now that we know we have something that would qualify for a potential A1 setup or D1 because of the EMAs and the TDI. Now, in hindsight, of course, because it's Wednesday now, not Tuesday anymore, we're looking at this trade left to right, because that's the way the time presents, to see what would be a potential entry signal for us. What fits the parameters of an A1? Whether it's a winner or a loser does not matter. You have to make sure that you're judging it unbiased from the start of the day all the way through, left to right. Because if you don't, you're going to be looking at it with hindsight bias, and you're going to, oh, I wouldn't have taken that trade. That loser, I would have avoided that. You can't do that. You have to be unbiased with it. Otherwise, you're basically doing it for no reason. The whole point here is so you can see the winners and identify what makes them unique. And at the same time, to really be able to know what makes them unique, you have to be able to see the losers as well. So you can say, I'm not going to trade into divergence, for example, because I know that that ruins my setup. I'm going to use that to keep me out of bad trades. You won't know that unless you go do these markups. So the first entry we're going to look at is actually here in the Asian session. When I'm looking at it from the changeover of day right here, the vertical dotted line, all the way through, the first thing that I see that matches on the price action, matches on my other parameters, and matches on the TDI for an entry signal is here at 2100. So in hindsight, what I would do is I'd come in here. This to me is a 3-candle formation for a new high of day, right? The next 15 to 30 minutes should also break for a new high of week in an A1 situation like this, and it does. So this ends up being a winning setup. So what I'll do is I'll use the measurement tools here, which I selected all these tools here from the left side. I just put them on my favorite bar, and that helps me just float this around, so it's really easy to do this fast. So I can draw the rectangle around the formation. I like to draw vertical lines here to mark the time and the date so I can see that at the bottom, right? Then what I like to do is measure it. So draw it and add your spread in. Don't put it right there like you got some perfect entry. That doesn't happen. Add the spread in, put the stop where it would go for your entry signal, and show how you would manage this trade. So for me, what I do in my notes then is I'll come in here, kind of put this in the center so I can see everything. When I take my picture, I need that. I want to see as much as I can. I'll click the little text bubble, and I'll start writing. So this is an A1 formation off the 21 EMA. EMAs and L50 confirm the direction. Asian session. So I would size down because both GBP and USD are closed, so it may be slow. But we know this A1 should hold the 8 EMA and go for a new, what I say, high of week in the next hour or so. That's what the A1 system calls for, and it does. So that's my notes on how I would take the entry, what I was looking at beforehand. Basically, that's as simple as I make it. I now have the time marked, the entry signal marked, and then what I'm looking at now, as I've gotten better at this, is how would I manage this trade? Where would I take profit? Because I have exit signals built into my system, if I gave this, let's just say, a B grade, I know that at 2R, some of my trade would be closed. So I'll put another little text bubble here and say, I'm up 2R, 75%, let's just say, of the trade closed here. Stop loss moved into profit at 1R. Can't lose any money. Done. Anyway. Done. So that's there. Now it's there. It's perfect. Then what I do is I'll click the price here. I'll kind of size it so it looks good. I'll move this out of the way just so I can check it. And the one thing I want to mention is I do have the ADR indicator on. Doesn't matter which one you're using. I know mine got blacklisted. I'm trying to get it back. But you can use that, keep that on, because you want to see, was there space on average daily range? That's part of our system. If you're using our system and you're watching this to see how I do our markups and you're in our group, you know ADR is very important, so you want to keep that on there in all of your markups. But now this is set. My entry's marked. I know what I'm looking for. Everything is kind of laid out for me. So when I come back to this, because remember, the goal is to be able to come back to this and study it. When I come back, today's Wednesday, let's say I come back on Sunday. Now I can remember exactly what was going on here when this trade happened. That's the beautiful thing about it, because now I've put my notes in. Let's just say this was later in the day that it happened, and it's very still kind of fresh on your mind, hot on your mind. So then what I'll do is I'll come up to the top here and click the camera symbol. You can also do Option S if you're on an iMac, and this is what pops up. You can do two things, and I showed you this in the other video. Copy the link and send this to somebody, tweet it, or do what I do, save it. This is very important. So I right-click on this new thing, Save Image As, and I have a specific folder here. You see it's April Markups in my iCloud. Look at how each pair is detailed here. Let me drag this down. Look, all of my trades are here. The pair name, the time frame, the date, and the time that the entry happens. So this gets documented as GU. We're looking at the 15-minute time frame, 4/13/2100. Boom, save. Next. Just like that. It's really that simple. And what